Hey, it's Ethan Skolnick for the Five on the Floor podcast. Thanks for finding us on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. And make sure to check out our website, 5reasonsports.com. Spell it out, F-I-V-E, reasonsports.com for all the latest columns, podcasts in our network, videos from our YouTube channel, merchandise, and more. Today's episode is brought to you by Doral Toyota, which is celebrating its 50th anniversary. That's right, 50 years with below market prices on new and used vehicles. 5 Reason Sports listeners get a dedicated manager to work with. So won't just work with a salesperson. You work with a dedicated manager if you just mention 5 Reasons or 5 on the Floor. They've got over 1,500 new and used cars to choose from. It's easy to get to right off 826 and 836, a few blocks from International Mall. They've got in-house financing available for all your credit challenges. So visit DoralToyota.com. Again, that's DoralToyota.com for more details, or visit the showroom. It's at 9775 Northwest 12th Street. That's 9775 Northwest 12th Street in Doral. And before we get to today's episode, just want to let you know we did this interview on Saturday. It's after Jae Crowder suffered what turned out to be a concussion, which put him in the concussion protocol in Friday's game. But when Jae spoke to us, seemed perfectly fine, but obviously taking all of the precautions. So we don't know when Jae's coming back to play. We hope it's on Wednesday. We didn't cover any of that. We really wanted a biographical sketch of his time before he got to the NBA and also in the NBA. We hope you enjoy it.
Welcome to 5 on the Floor, a Miami Heat and NBA podcast from Ethan Skolnick with Alphonse Sidney, a.k.a. Alf954. Brought to you by the 5 Reasons Sports Network.
Welcome back to the 5 on the Floor podcast on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Today we have a special guest, one of the new additions to the Miami Heat, who's made a big impact to the Heat since he joined the team. I'm also here with Alphonse Sidney, but the big guest today is not Alf. It is Jae Crowder, number 99 on the court, and again, someone who's made a big impression so far. And I just want to start there. I want to do some biographical stuff with you here, Jae, and I appreciate you joining us. I read the piece that was done by Joe over at the Heat about you, just for a little bit more background. But I think there are some fans who still don't know some things, even though you've been in the league so long, that they probably should know. So let me throw some stuff at you. You tell me the origin of it. Boss Man. Where does Boss Man come from? Because that's the nickname. That's on the IG account. What's the origin of that?
Just a nickname given from my best friends. I have 2 best friends, and just a nickname they gave me. I just ran with it, I guess. And then I'm just the head of my family, so I guess I'm the boss man. So it's very fitting for me in my lifestyle.
And it's 2 N's at the end, correct? I want to make sure we get this right.
Yeah, I put 2 N's because I don't want anything to be one day copyrighted or anything like that. So I put 2 N's on the end of
it. That's kind of like what was it? Pat Riley was copywriting 3-peat. So you've got Boss Man from now until the end of the time. Yeah. I got another one for you. So number 99. Okay. Again, it's not. I didn't even know you were allowed to wear 99 because the officials are only supposed to go up to 5 on both hands. Like Jason Williams down here with Miami at 55. That was the most you're supposed to be able to go. Why did you start wearing 99, and did you need approval to wear 99?
Well, the reason why is because, like I said, I have 2 best friends. One of them, when I got traded to Boston, I was number 9 in Dallas, and I got traded to Boston for Rondo. So I just felt like with what he had done in Boston, I didn't want to be number 9. I felt like that number should go in the rafters one day in Boston, and I just wanted to show respect. And my best friend at the time was in college playing college football. He was number 99. So I dedicated my number to him. I got the same exact number as him, and that's the real reason why. And I know I didn't have to get any confirmation from the league. It was so you could in the NBA, you're able to wear a number from 00 to 99. I knew that, so I was able to choose that number. But that's the sole reason why I chose number 99.
But you're creating more work for the officials, though, Jay. You don't want to piss off the officials.
That's fine.
Yeah, but then you're going to get a bad call against you on the other end. They got to use 4 hands instead of 2.
well, I get bad calls every night. So.
Well, that's true. You and Duncan both. It was a conversation we've had here on this podcast. Alf, you want to jump in with something?
Yeah, Jay. This is Alphonse. I wanted to know, your father was a professional athlete. Did you ever feel any pressure to go into professional sports or sports in general, or is this just something you've always loved?
Well, growing up where I'm from, you have to play sports. Period. That's just the end of it. That's just how it goes where I'm from. I'm from a small town outside of Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. So growing up, I had to play sports, and obviously I wanted to be just like my father. He was my role model growing up. He was already a professional athlete, and I wanted to just be just like him. So, did I feel any pressure? I can't say that I felt pressure, but I did have some big shoes to fill with his name holding so much weight where I'm from. But at the same time, I just felt like I used his success as motivation more than anything. I don't recall too much pressure being put on me, but I wasn't known for being his son. So I did have to compete at a high level, I should say, and I got the best shot of all the kids around town. But I just wanted to be just like him. He was my biggest motivator growing up. He was the guy. He was a guy I wanted to be just like he. So it was very easy for me to follow in his footsteps in the sense of just being. I just wanted to be just like him. I just had the dream of being just like him. I wanted to play basketball. Basketball was my first love, even though I did play football. Mm-hmm. And I got recruited to play football, but I just always loved basketball. I come from a basketball family, and we all played basketball. So that's the real reason why I'm here today.
Well, I'm going to get more into your background here in a second, but before I do, I've read about, and you talked about it in that interview with Heat.com, about the workouts that he put you through. So you haven't been here that long, and you're not here during the Pat Riley era, which was a whole different beast. Eric has loosened that stuff up a little bit over the years. But can you compare a workout with your father to a workout with under the Heat culture, so to speak? What is harder to get through?
What's harder to get through was probably my father's workout, because at the time I wasn't like set mentally to go through a vigorous workout. I didn't have the mental toughness that I do now to go through anything tough physically. So I would say where growing up it's much more difficult for me, because it was times where I wanted to just be a kid and just play video games all day, and I had to get a workout or two in. So, and my dad didn't pressure me, but he did ask me, like, if you want to do this, I'll help you do it. I'm not pressuring you to do it, but we're going to do it if you say you're going to do it. And what he meant by that is he was going to be on me. He was going to be on me. He was going to push me. He was going to encourage me at the same time. And some stuff that I couldn't do as a kid, like play video games all day. I still was able to play video games, obviously, but I want some kids in the summertime play video games all day, and my friends may play football when I really need to train and run and then come back and then play football with them. So it was definitely some stuff growing up that was much more tougher than what I go through now. Obviously, I'm a professional, and I do take care of my body at a high level. And here at the Heat organization, you do get held to a standard, and I feel like that just brings the best out of us athletes. And I'm very much in tune to what goes down here. I'm like in sync with it. I'm okay with it, and I respect it at the same time. So it's very easy for me to transition myself to this culture, to this Heat organization, pretty much due to my upbringing and working out and stuff like that. But like I said, I'm a professional, so my time before I became a professional was much more difficult.
So I saw you you always refer to Dwayne Wade as kind of your big brother, and you used one of his quotes the other day that he used. I think he started using in the 08-09 season after he came back from all those injuries. My belief is stronger than your doubt. The doubt, did that start when you weren't heavily recruited? Because you had to. People just remember Marquette. They don't remember you were at two schools, including Howard, before Marquette. What went through that process, and why didn't people notice you? At first when you were coming out of high school.
Well, I was always. I felt like I was always overlooked. I've always been overlooked, and that. It built my character. It built what I stand for and what I believe. And I honestly believe the doubt. I still use the doubt to this day to drive me to be the best I can be. I don't shy away from it. I don't get mad at it. I just use it as motivation. I just turned all those negative thoughts from other people into a positive, and I just try to use it to push myself each and every day, even days when I didn't want to don't want to do anything. I just use all that motivation, all the bad talk to just motivate me to be the better player, better man that I was the day before. So that's one of the quotes that stick with me. Obviously, it's one of my big brother's quotes. Dwayne Wade, his main quote that I've taken away and applied into my lifestyle. And I just feel like, yeah, it does come from my background. It does come from not being heavily recruited. I don't know why I wasn't heavily recruited, because I was a top football player. I was recruited at quarterback. I played quarterback for 3 years, varsity in high school, and I was a point guard on the basketball team. So, but I still flew under the radar. So I just took the longer route. Obviously, everybody in the world knows me as a kid coming out of Marquette, but like you said, I went to 2 schools just before even getting to Marquette, 2 junior colleges to get to Marquette, and I had to bust my ass to get to Marquette. And from that point on, I still wasn't heavily recruited to be an NBA basketball player. I feel like I had to prove myself. I was able to win Big East Player of the Year that last year at Marquette, which helped me a little bit, but I still had to go through 15-plus NBA draft workouts, and I still have to battle each and every workout just to get drafted 34. So it's just part of my lifestyle. I've accepted it. I use all the talk and all the negative energy that gets thrown on my name. I use it as motivation. I just use it for all the little kids growing up in a small town and showing them that anything is possible through hard work.
So now you're with the Miami Heat, and the Miami Heat have been known in the past for Kentucky players, Duke players, but now with you on the team, it seems like the Miami Heat's known for Marquette players as well. And I feel like I keep asking you about pressure, but do you feel any pressure with the Marquette guys that have come before you that have played for this team? And how does it feel to just have such a Marquette community around you now in your professional career?
Yeah. Do I feel any pressure to answer that question? I honestly don't. I have the support from all my fellow Marquette people who played within the organization, especially Dwayne Wade, my big brother. Obviously, he supports each and every game that we play in. So me playing with Jimmy again, or one of my Marquette teammates, it's great. Just great to be a part of it. I know what he brings to the table. I know how hard he works. And it's no coincidence that we mesh well together because we do push each other. We do push each other and we have fun with it, but we do set the bar high for one another and we do hold each other to a higher standard. So just being a part of the organization where some Marquette guys have came through, it feels right. I told my friends as soon as I got traded and played a few games, I was probably like 3 games in, I told them it feels right. Just something about the fit and the mold of everything from top to bottom, the organization and the team. It just feels right. I honestly feel like I can make this home. I'm trying to make this home. I feel like I can grow in this organization and continue to be the player and the leader that they want me to be. And it's just, like I said, I don't feel any pressure. It feels right. I'm having fun with it. And it feels good to have the whole Marquette alumni behind us here at Miami, and with me and Jimmy still playing together, it just take me back to my Marquette days with him and battling with him and practicing, and it just feels right, man.
We'll get back to our episode with Jae Crowder here in a second, but before we do, I want to tell you about one of the great sponsors of the 5 Reasons Sports Network, and the one that I need the most, which is Servani Men's Custom Clothier, because it can be frustrating to shop for dress clothes. You can't find the right fit, color, or style, or maybe you never know what to wear or how to wear it. Doesn't fit quite properly, right? Maybe you got a wedding, a special event coming up, or you just wear professional attire daily, or maybe you cover the Miami Heat and you've been told in the past you're a little bit too sloppy. You've got to go see Blanca over at Servani Men's Custom Clothier in South Miami, her private showroom located right across from Sunset Place on Red Road. Servani's been designing fine custom-made clothing in South Miami with a personal touch for over 30 years. Your custom-made, that's right, custom-made suits, pants, shirts, and shoes will fit you just the way you like, and it's a fun experience going through all of it. I want to go back, okay? So schedule a private consultation with Blanca to start looking your best and get the benefit of a female's perspective on men's fashion. Give her a call at 305-310-2085. Again, that's 305-310-2085. Nothing fits like custom tailored clothes. Stop buying off the rack. Another great sponsor of the 5 Reasons Sports Network, the Seltzer Mayberg Law Firm. You can find them at onecalllegal.com. Spell it out, ONE, calllegal.com. They've got someone there 24 hours a day to get you started on your case, and they've got an office right there in North Miami, right off of 95, right before the Golden Glades. So they're based here in Miami, but they handle cases from all over the state and all kinds of cases, whether it's slip and fall, personal injury, traffic tickets, immigration, or just about anything else. It's the Seltzer Mayberg Law Firm, onecalllegal.com. And now, back to Jae Crowder.
Well, I want to get into that in more detail because, again, this is the Twitter world we live in, and I know you're active on Twitter. You're all caps on Twitter. I want to get into that in a second because that's part of your signature, I think, at this stage. But there was also, I think people misunderstand stuff on Twitter. So wasn't there supposedly Twitter beef between you and Jimmy at some point? What was that about, and how did people misinterpret that? Because when you were traded here, all these people were like texting me or messaging me on Twitter like, well, Jay and Jimmy don't like each other. Don't you remember that thing? And I'm like, what? I said, I don't. And then I looked up, I had forgotten about that whole situation. What was that, and how did that get misconstrued?
Well, he was playing for Minnesota. He didn't play that game. He was back in Minnesota, and I was just traded to Utah, and some stuff had went down on the court, and Tibbs was talking to me, blah, 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 blah. He replied on Twitter and said, stay away from my coach. That's not beef. Obviously, it's our competitive nature, just talking trash. Even when we were teammates, we didn't want to be on the same team in practice because we wanted to push each other. Like I said, we still hold each other to a higher standard, and we still go with each other each and every day. Obviously, now it's much different than when we were in college. And but we was always friends. That wasn't that serious. People blew that out of proportion. It went viral, all the retweets and stuff like that. But it was never just hate. It was just all competitive trash talk. And I just feel like we've always had that. We've always been able to trash talk each other, whatever we do. Like last night, we were playing dominoes on the plane, me and him, and trash talking each other to death, flying from New Orleans to Washington today. So just in our competitive nature, just to sit around and talk trash to each other and push each other to a higher standard. But at the same time, we're all fighting the same goal, and we just want to be the best at whatever we do.
So
that's all that was about.
Okay, good. Well, all right. So we've cleared that up. Because I'm watching the other day before the game, and I know the guys have these elaborate handshake rituals, but you have one with Jimmy that's next level. Like I need to video this at the next game. Like that's on my list of things to do. Did that come from – first thing, can you describe it in any way? And did that come from Marquette, or did you guys just come up with that in the past 3 weeks?
Well, first of all, we call each other Salt and Pepper. That's just a nickname we ran with. And what we're doing, we're just giving each other salt and pepper. I just feel like when you see us hold our hand out, he's giving me the salt and I'm giving him the pepper, vice versa, however you want to twist it. And we just build a handshake off of it. It's just being funny. But we call each other Salt and Pepper, and that's just the handshake.
Alf, I'm gonna leave this to you, man, because I feel like we need to play. I feel like we need to play Push It in the background now. The rest of the podcast.
Well, I was gonna ask who's Salt and who's Pepper, but I guess you answered that.
He always says he's Pepper because it's more spicier. But okay, whatever floats his boat, I guess.
All right. So speaking of Salt and Pepper, so now you're down in Miami. Not a bad place to be, right?
Right.
What have you enjoyed as far as like going out, food, places to see? What have you done in Miami, or have you just been so busy so far you haven't really been able to enjoy the city?
See, what people don't understand is my house has been there for the past 2 years. So I own a home in Miami before this trade. I work out my off season is spent in Miami. My agent is in Miami. My dad is an hour and a half away in Fort Myers. So we're all South Florida. I'm from Atlanta, obviously, but I've moved a lot of my family to the South Florida area, and that's just home. That's home for me. Even though I still have a condo in Atlanta, I just don't live there. I'm from there. I just don't live there. My house is in Miami. It's been there for the past 3.5 years. So the move was very easy for me. I have a chef. I don't go out to eat too often. When I do, I have a few spots that I've gotten to know the owners of. Just being there in the off season. My trainers are in Miami. My masseuse is in Miami. So everything's just right there where I need it. And the trade was much, much easier for me to get acclimated back home, I feel like. And people didn't know that, but my house was already there, so the move wasn't that bad. And the lifestyle, obviously, it can get the best of you. But like I said, I live there, so I feel like it's home. I don't go out often. I love to be on the water when I can, but I haven't had any off days here. Trying to get squeeze the best out of my opportunity here the second half of the season. So I haven't had much time to just get around and do what I usually do, like go to my restaurants in the off season. So I just stay at home. I stay in the gym, and I go to work each and every day. And I might go in my backyard and catch some sun sometimes after practice. But other than that, I'm home or at the gym.
So no South Beach flu for you?
No. I'm well beyond that. I got those days behind me.
There were some people who thought that some of the guys had Bourbon Street flu at the beginning of yesterday's game. So the South Beach flu is we need to keep it there when opponents come into Miami.
Yeah, we were turning the ball over crazy guys.
Yeah, a little bit. Made a run at the end. I wanted to get to that a little bit because I think that's sort of the human side of this that people forget. A guy like yourself who's been with so many teams. I mean, been with Dallas, been with Boston, been with Memphis, and all that. And you end up in Cleveland for that short stint there, Utah, that every time there's like a personal people are just like, guys traded. Okay, now he's got to acclimate on the court. You got to acclimate to your life. What is it like being a good NBA player who's had to spend so much time in so many different places? Do you like being exposed to all these different organizations, cities?
I don't mind it.
Or is it tough?
I actually don't mind it. Especially with the way I've approached it. I just approach it as a business, as a job. It's my job to travel. I signed up for this, and me going to two colleges before I got to Marquette and moving away from home at 18. It really built me for this. You know what I mean? I never get homesick. Even when I was 18, I left home. People asked me whether I was homesick. I wasn't homesick. I just wanted better for myself. And so it allowed me to grow and be a man at a young age. So me moving in the NBA it's not different. I have two guy friends who go everywhere with me. I have my girlfriend. She travels with me everywhere. And we just always stay together. I told them well before my first trade, it was going to be a bumpy ride, ups and downs. We just have to stick together, and that's what we've done. And my family has done a great job of supporting me through whatever it is. And everywhere I've been, I've tried to make an impact. And we joked about it when I went to Utah with Miami and got the standing ovation, and turn around and go to Cleveland and get a standing ovation. All these places I've been, I've always had a positive impact on them. That's all I really want to do is impact the culture, impact the organization, impact the city in a positive way. And I had a short stint in Cleveland, and we went back and played Cleveland, and they gave me a little standing ovation. So just them embracing me and showing that their appreciation for me as a basketball player, it speaks volumes of what I bring to the table. And I just feel like I wanted to do that in each and every city I went to. I go back to Dallas today. The Dallas fans love me. They asked me to come back. I go to Boston and get a huge standing ovation. These places all I've impacted, and they've impacted me as well. So I embrace the journey of my own personal journey. I embrace it. I don't get mad. I don't get sad. I don't get down on myself. I just embrace it. And each place I go to, I try to make the biggest impact possible. And I always have one goal when I get to a team, and that's just to win the championship. And I just try to put my best foot forward to win games and win the championship.
Well, I can already tell you, being on Twitter, you already become quickly a fan favorite down here. Just from your play, the way you carry yourself, how hard you hustle, all that good stuff. But I do want to go back to something you're talking about before with Jimmy and trash talking. So we know Jimmy's a trash talker, and we've heard some of the trash talking practices is pretty legendary with the Miami Heat. So after Jimmy, who's the biggest trash talker on the team that you've encountered so far?
Udonis Haslem. No doubt. No doubt, Udonis.
But you know what's funny about that? I was just about to comment on this. You, just vocally, I think people are going to notice this. You sound like UD. Do you notice that, Alf? Just speech mannerisms, kind of the.
It's uncanny, really.
A crazy story about people that don't know about me and Udonis is my dad when they go play overseas. My dad was his we call it OG, his older vet, his vet. And it's crazy that he's my vet now. And I remember my dad just came to Miami. We all hung out after the game, and we just talking, reminiscing. But he always says if it wasn't for my dad, he wouldn't be where he is today, because he wouldn't have survived overseas without my father. And that's just a crazy relationship that they have amongst one another. And now to see me playing with him and him being my vet, it's unbelievable. And I try to soak up as much game as possible. I ask all the questions to him. He's probably tired of me. I sit beside him on the plane. I love him, man. He's a hell of a person. And on top of that, he's a hell of a teammate. And he doesn't BS around. You guys know him. He don't BS around. He cuts it out how it is. And I love that about him. I respect that about him. And I like to have someone hold me accountable like that. Man, it's just amazing that the tables have turned, and he's my vet now. My dad was his vet. It's crazy.
Well, he's going to be playing until he's 68. So, I mean, there's going to be a lot of time. As long as you're here, he's still – but Alf, do you hear it now? I hear Udonis when Jay talks. It's crazy. Like he's in
tip-top shape, too. He's in tip-top shape.
I know. He still says he kicks everybody's ass in practice. All right, I got some rapid fire for you here before you go. Just a few things about it. Do you like the term when someone says someone's a 3-and-D player? Do you like that characterization?
I don't like it. The reason why is because I feel like I'm a basketball player. I think that just puts a standard on you, sets a bar on you. I'm more than that. I mean, I do shoot threes. I do play defense. Okay, that fits me, but that's not all that I do on the basketball court. I'm much more than that. I'm an all-around player. I guard multiple positions. I make plays for my teammates. I know how to play the game at a high level. I know the game. I read the game. I'm just much more than just a guy who shoots threes and a guy who plays defense. I feel like I'm an overall, all-around basketball player. And so I don't like that term, but people use it all the time. I just feel like it just caps players and it puts a bar on them.
The Marquette Hall of Fame, which you went into, what was the most gratifying part of that experience?
The most gratifying probably was my speech, my acceptance speech. I got choked up because I really wanted my mom to be there. My mom passed away 2 years ago. I knew how much she was excited for me to go to that university. And just me giving that speech and dedicating everything I've done at that college to her, because she was the main one driving me at that time. I choked up a little bit because it meant so much to me, because I know it meant so much to her. And I feel like that was the most humbling experience of my life, one of the most humbling experiences of my life, to set my mind and body back those many years and being there with her. It was just great to be a part of, and great honor on my name.
Did Morant ever try to dunk on you in practice in Memphis?
No, he would not try to. He never did. He wouldn't. He actually have dunked on a few players on the team, but he never tried me. For the most part, we played together. We was on the same team. Mm-hmm. But he have dunked on a few teammates before, but I never was one.
Two more. You mentioned a championship many times. I know that's your goal.
Yes, sir.
Just can you put into, because obviously there's been 3 down here, and there's been a lot of guys who were chasing them a long time who found it here. Mm-hmm. Anybody from Zoe coming back to Gary Payton to Antoine Walker, they found championships here. Could you put into words what it would mean to you?
It's hard to put it in words what it would mean to me, because that's my ultimate goal as a basketball player, as a professional basketball player, is just to win that championship. But it'll make all the hard work, all the long nights, all the stress. It'll make everything just pay off times 10. It would feel surreal, obviously, but it would just show me that hard work. Even though I do feel, honestly, to this day, feel like hard work pays off, that would be the ultimate goal of all of my hard work paying off, is to hoist the championship trophy, because I put so much time. I'm away from my family so much for this game, and I just feel like that'd be the ultimate sign of hard work paying off for me to hoist a championship trophy in this league.
All right, so be honest here. Final question. What do you think of Jimmy Butler's love for country music, and does it disappoint you that Udonis Haslem has now taken up a love for country music because of Jimmy Butler?
I knew Jimmy Butler loved country music back when we were in college. That's all he wanted to listen to. Jimmy Butler had the cowboy hat, cowboy boots, cowboy belt way back in Marquette days. So this is nothing new to me. His love for country music. He was singing it last night, and I asked him. I actually liked the song he was singing. I asked him to send it to me. He sent it to me. So, I mean, I don't mind it. I like it. It is him. It is who he is. It is what he likes, and it's good to see Udonis take on a few of those songs and like him himself. And he actually asked Jimmy to make him a playlist of country music. So I'm excited for that. Can't wait to hear Udonis walking around the locker room singing country music coming up.
Damn, you sound so much like him. It's crazy. All right, is it okay when we promote this podcast if we put it in all caps? Can Alf and I put it in all? Where does that come from? Why did you start doing that?
So back when I was in high school, my first phone was a Sidekick. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So from that point on, back in 2000, whatever, I started to use it in all caps. It was much easier to type than text on that phone in all caps. Not knowing that I would go to an iPhone one day and it'd be a little more difficult, but it has become what I'm about. It's just that's how you know I'm texting you. That's how you know it's me. Someone texts you and says it's Jay and not in all caps, it's not me. Or if my Twitter ever comes out with a tweet that's not all caps, I'm hacked.
You were hacked.
I'm hacked.
All of my social media, if it's not all caps, someone has hacked my account. So that's good.
Such a pain in the ass, though, Jay. You got to hit shift every time. Okay, I get it on the old.
I'm so used to it now.
I know. All right, Jae Crowder, we loved having you on. We'd love to have you here long term, obviously. And you made it pretty clear on the podcast that you'd like that as well. So thanks for doing it, and we'll see you next week at the home games. Thanks, man.
Thanks for having me. I'll see you guys soon.
Yep. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Five on the Floor on the Five Reasons Sports Network.